Bruce, go ahead and roll the song right now. When I think of freeze, I think of people that get freaked out about something. I think of people that get fired up about something. And tonight, I want to introduce Mike. Oh, Let's hear it for Mike one more time. There's the smell. Smell that. It's good for you. Some CO in that, some CO2, some NOx, good stuff for your lungs. Mike likes Harleys. Mike has a story to tell. I want you to listen tonight as Mike tells you the story of how he came to be where he is on stage in front of a bunch of high school students at a church. Mike, I'm glad you're here. Here's Mike.
Thanks, Dave. Well, I'm Mike. Started off when I was 5 years old. Started stealing. Got worse. By the time I was 10, I was shoplifting from Kmart, Target, wherever you could think of. By the time I was 12, I was shoplifting from malls. You know, this was the first time that I had gotten drunk. 14 years old, I started binge drinking. Every weekend I was drinking, puking. Still kept on drinking, didn't matter, that's what I was looking for. By the time I was 15, or about 14, I was addicted to pot and alcohol already. Smoking pot every day, drinking twice a week, didn't matter, you know, I just wanted to get high. By the time I was 15, was doing LSD 2 or 3 times a week. Just didn't matter. I had a hole in my heart. You know, and only God could fill, and I was trying to fill with every other thing I could think of. 15 years old, I was in inpatient chemical dependency treatment. I got arrested for doing burglaries. I was forging checks that I stole out of a car. 17, I was doing cocaine on a weekly basis. 18, about when crystal meth came on the scene, I started doing that. Well, you know, never once did I stop using drugs. You know, getting drunk, getting high, whatever I could have get my hands on, I was taking it. Didn't matter. By the time I was 20 years old, I jumped off a 2.5-story balcony 2 times. The second time, I didn't wake up for 2 weeks. Knocked myself into a coma. When I woke up from the coma, I told everybody I'm done drinking drugs. I'm done. Well, the first week I got out of the hospital, you know, I was in rehabilitation treatment for 2 months. They said it was the quickest they'd seen anybody come out of the hospital. You know, I couldn't walk. I was in a wheelchair for a while. I couldn't talk. I had no motor skills, no balance, nothing. The first week I got out of the hospital, I went and got drunk. And I started smoking pot again. Started smoking meth. You know, I kept telling myself, I don't have a problem with meth. You know, I just like getting high. 4 years went by. I was still smoking meth. Well, in about, I was 24. This was 1995. 5 people were in my van. We were driving about 55 miles an hour down a road in Alexandria. Well, I knew my van didn't have good brakes. And the guy in front of me slammed on his brakes, and we were drinking, partying all day, right? Well, I hit the ditch, right? So I went and hit him, rear-end this guy, and I go in the ditch, I gain control, I go to the guy next to me, well, that was close. I look ahead, there's a driveway. A 4-foot driveway, the one that goes in the cornfields, is pretty deep. I hit that driveway 55 miles an hour. I launched that thing. I was about 20 feet in the air. My van cleared that driveway, plus it did a 180 in the air. Came down, landed, and the whole back of the van was tweaked. The tires on the rims are all popped off from the impact. I threw every beer, or me and the guys threw every beer bottle we could possibly get out of the van, thinking we had them all. The cops found one. Well, they gave me a BAC test. I tried to fake it, you know, just blow. Tried to fake it, didn't work. I blew a red right away. Well, the guy said, you know, since you've been so agreeing with me, I'll give you a choice. You either come back to the station, you take the BAC at the station there, or you go to the hospital, you give me a blood and a urine test, and I'll let you go. Well, I said, let's go to the hospital. Well, the tow truck driver that took the van was a friend of the guy that I was with that did the accident. But we towed it back to his house, so I had to pay for any towing. He dropped me back off in my van. We went to a graduation party that night. And then it was the last time I told myself, that's it. This is the last time I'm going to drink. I'm quitting. You know, my wife had told me, well, she was the girlfriend at that time, told me that I was going to get a DWI. She knew it because I was drinking and driving every time I was with her. And I was like, no, guy listening to a woman, yeah, right, you know, that ain't going to happen to me. Well, it did. So I quit drinking for 6 months. 6 months went by, you know, I think I can handle it. I think I got a handle on the alcohol now. Well, first couple of times it was okay. Then I started getting drunk again, right back to where I was. Then I quit again. This time it was 4 months. I started drinking again, think I could handle it. Oh, this time it's got to be good. Sitting back, right back to where I was, getting drunk. Well, at this time I was about 26. It took 2 years to finally kick the drugs and the alcohol. I was sober 4 years. You know, I got into mountain biking, going to every trail I could think of in the Twin Cities. This is what was keeping me sober, right? Keep my sanity, so to speak. This is what I lived for. You know, I went to Colorado on a downhill mountain bike trip. It was awesome. Well, you know, it wasn't enough. So I quit doing it. How about this? I thought this is all I needed. I'm sober. I'm married. I got a house. I got a Harley. My life is complete. What else is there? Well, 3 months prior to me picking this up, this preacher came up to my up my driveway one late spring afternoon, and I was sitting in the backyard, and he came and introduced himself, said who he was, where he was meeting, and he asked if he could ask me a question. Oh yeah, go ahead. He goes, do you know where you're going to go when you die? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I hope I'm going to go to heaven. He goes, oh, you hope, so you don't know. I said, you can get the hell out of here. I don't need that shit right now. And he walked away. I got involved with the motorcycle. I put 4,000 miles on this motorcycle in 2 months. This is what I thought I needed. I started smoking meth again. Started smoking pot. Hanging around the wrong crowd. It wasn't what I needed, you know. I thought that's all I needed, you know. Well, that was summer of 2000. Winter of 2000, December, I got a little road rage incident where these guys were flashing the brights. This is right here in Champlain, right off of Douglas and 117. These guys were flashing the brights at me. You got to remember, at this point in my life, I was sober. No, I wasn't sober. I started using again. But the anger inside me was uncontainable. I would go off like a quick fuse, you know. And so always looking for someone to fight, just to feel better about myself, right? Well, as soon as I get to the stop sign, I throw up the emergency brake, jump out of my car, I'm screaming and swearing at these guys, get out of the effing car, I'm going to kick your effing asses, you know? Well, they get out of the car, I kick the door back in on them. Well, he comes out, he brings a bat out. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not scared. I'm just like, okay, thinking about what I'm going to do, and this guy's got the bat. Well, I'm kind of inching my way towards him, well, I grabbed it. And I told him, I was crazy. I was like, I'm going to effing kill you. You're effing dead. And at this point, you know, effingheimers were coming out of my mouth like every other word. Didn't matter. And I just like, I was crazy. I would have killed this kid. And I said, once I get my hand on this bat, pull out of your hands, you're dead. I want to kill you. You're the worst mistake you ever made. Well, we're fighting. Another guy jumps out of the car, puts me in a headlock. Now I'm screaming even worse. You're both effing dead. Once I get this bat, you guys are done. Well, they start freaking out, you know, because I was just crazy at that time. And they said, settle down, settle down. I go, it's a little late. And then we finally separated. And we both went our ways. The main thing, you know, as I